Good morning, art friends. Melisa here with another paper doll project. Today I'm teaming the dolls up with some bird stamp images from Red Lead Paperworks. As always, you'll find a list of all the supplies used in today's project in the description box below the video. Just click the Show More button to expand the box. I used the word fragile on this little doll's dress and the bird nest on the roof from the Fragile Bird Nest set. I used the bird nest phrase on the roof from the Bird Nest with Eggs set. I cut the word home from this little ticket and put it on the front door, and this set is bird tickets. And this little cutie is from the Three Little Birds set. The tiny little bird on her dress and wreath, the little bird on the nest, and the words Eggling Study are all from the Birdwatch stamp set. I also created my little wreath on the door from this circular element. I cut the words courage and strength from this circular element, and it's from the set She Is Waiting to Fly, and then I adhered those to the steps. My substrate is some wood that my husband cut out for me. The elements on a piece of pattern paper made it really easy to embellish my little house. As always, all the supplies will be listed in the description box below the video. Just click the Show More button to expand it so you can see everything. I had so much fun embellishing the dolls. I colored them with some Copic alcohol markers, stamped a bird image on the skirt with an India ink pad, and put a little crown on the fragile doll. I started by distressing the pink pattern paper for the base of the house. I stamped some text and inked the edges with Brilliance Pearlescent chocolate ink and an eyeshadow applicator. I used matte gel medium to adhere this to the base. The pattern paper I used for the roof and to embellish around the windows and doors is all from the same 12 by 12 sheet. It's really old, but I was surprised that you can still get it over at Adornit. What I like about it is that it had all these horizontal patterns that I was able to cut out and use. I cut rectangular shapes for the door and window from the same pattern paper and started trying to figure out how I wanted to embellish them. There were lots of little pattern strips from this one sheet to choose from. Along the way, I inked the edges of all the little elements with the same brown ink and an eyeshadow applicator. I cut an extra strip of the brown pattern across the roof and popped it up with some 3D foam tape to add more dimension. I did that with the strips across the top and bottom of the window and across the top of the door as well. Now it's time to embellish my house with all those cute little images from Red Lead Paperworks. This would have been a quick project, but I decided I wanted a little wreath on the front door. The tutorial takes a couple of minutes, so if you're not interested in that, you can skip ahead to the next step. Jump ahead to approximately 4 minutes 44 seconds. Basically, I use circle punches to create the wreath. The wreath really didn't stand out against that light colored door, so I decided to create a darker base for it with a piece of brown pattern paper. The punch that I used for the base was a scalloped circle punch. I'm cutting with Fisker's micro tip scissors. You can actually cut with the tip of these scissors, and that's how I'm able to cut all the little details out. After embellishing my little wreath with the bird and the word home, I was starting to feel like I was almost done with this house except for coloring the images. So off camera, I stood the house up and put my paper dolls against it and realized the door and the window were too low on the house. I decided some steps would solve the problem, and I created those using my score pal. Skip ahead to 6 minutes, 43 seconds for the next step if you don't want to see the tutorial for the steps. For the bottom step, I scored the paper at 1/2 inch lines for 4 sides, so that's a total of 2 inches. And then I scored a little extra more at another 1/4 inch, so that's a total of 2 1/4 inches. And that was just so I would have a small strip to glue that 4th side to. Now I started with white cardstock, but later ended up covering it with the pattern paper. I tried to start with the pattern paper, but it was too thin and kept tearing when I was scoring it. So the lesson here is to start with thicker pattern paper and eliminate the extra work. For the top step, I scored at the 1 inch mark, then at the 1 1/2, 2 1/2, 3, and 3 1/4 inch marks. I'm using my Aleene's tacky glue to adhere the sides together to create the little cubes. So now I have both cubes covered with pattern paper and the edges are inked, and I'm ready to glue them together to create my set of steps. I used 3D foam tape to pop up the nest and then started coloring my images with watercolors. Notice all the detailed cutting around the leaves and twigs of the nest. I can only get that kind of detail cutting with those micro-tip scissors by Fiskars. I started out painting the eggs and birds with blue, but later I decided to change the birds to brown with yellow accents. You won't be able to see it in the video, but my paper dolls are standing about 1/4 inch in front of the house. I created some paper easels that are glued to the back of the dolls and then attached to the house. And it just adds more dimension to the project. Thanks so much for all of you who leave comments and like my videos. I work full time, and getting a video done even weekly can be a challenge some weeks, so your encouragement really makes a difference. I just signed up for the Amazon affiliate program, and I'm trying to get accepted to Dick Blick and Scrapbook.com as well. Just know that shopping through those links does not cost you anything, and it helps offset cost for crafters who are doing this. It's greatly appreciated. If you enjoyed today's project, I would appreciate you giving it a thumbs up and leaving a brief comment. It really helps me grow my channel. If you decide to subscribe, don't forget to click the bell so you'll receive notifications when I post new videos. If you'd like to be notified by email, check the description box below the video. Just click the Show More button to expand it. There you'll find the info on how to subscribe to my blog via the Feed Blitz tool, and then you'll receive my blog post in your email box. You can unsubscribe at any time. And don't forget to check out Red Lead Paperworks. It's a small company ran by 2 talented sisters. They have wonderful stamps, stencils, and collage paper. Well, that's it for today, art friends. See you next time.